Hi everybody, Zach here for another episode of our flagship program, The Spideydude Experience. This episode is brought to you by our loyal patrons over at patreon.com/Spideydude Network. Pledge today and get both early access to content on the main channel, as well as entirely exclusive content, like brand new shows and commentaries for old Spidey stuff, including commentaries for the MTV series, for example, as well as the video editions for Voices from the Eyrie Gargoyles Podcast. And our Patreon first show focused on the Krakoan era of X-Men. We also want to encourage you to check out our other programs that are all available on Audio Edition. These are all over on Spideydude.com, and they're available on your favorite podcasting app. Shows like Clone Saga Chronicles, the show that started this entire network, Spectacular Radio, Spectacular Sal Buscema era podcast, Amazing Spider-Man Classics, the Slot Symposium, and the sister program on this channel, Make Mine Mayday. As always, be sure to hit the like button. It really does help us big time in the algorithm. And additionally, if you have topics you'd like to cover on a live show or in a recorded medium, make sure to leave a comment down below the description or shoot us an email at SpideyDudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com. Finally, make sure to join our community. Be alerted to all new updates by hitting that subscribe button and clicking on the bell. But to be clear, your viewership is more than enough for us. And if you want to hang out with us off YouTube, you can always go to our Discord, where we have all sorts of fun stuff, or you can join us on our social medias and follow us there. All the links are down in the description below. As always, we want to be making some references to visual aids and or live comments. If you're an audio listener, pay that no mind, but leave that 5-star review for us. Any and all feedback we will read on future episodes. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get rolling with this episode of the Spideydude Experience. All right, everybody, hello. I am a little under the weather, but we are live here on the YouTubes. If you're watching us live or after the fact, thank you. And this episode, we're going to be covering 2 issues of The Amazing Spider-Man. And as always, I am joined by our friend Adam. Hello, Adam.
What's up?
Adam is our stalwart of the show. He is back talking ASM. We also have a masked Grumps, the Spideydude Radio Network pro wrestler, Walter. Hello, Walter.
Yo, what's up, guys? I'm looking forward to this Saturday when I face John Cena for the world title.
Is it John Cena or Juan Cena?
Yeah, we're going to go with the Mexican version of John Cena.
There was that one time that John Cena wrestled under a mask because he was kayfabe fired on TV, so he went out and wore a luchador mask that matched his shirt.
Well, if I want to get more heat than John Cena, I would come out as the masked Hulk Hogan.
Oh. Especially in LA, especially on the premiere of Netflix, Monday Netflix Raw.
Oh yeah.
So tonight we're going to be talking a little bit of news, and then we'll get into the review. First thing I'm going to talk about is there was some news that came out concerning the films, and now I'm going to share my screen. I'm pulling the CBR article. The thing about the CBR article and every article that shared the original post, it has been removed off Instagram, so I'm sure that Disney is not happy with this. But basically, there was a Disney Blockbuster Consumer Products presentation that was taking place in Vegas. And this was yesterday. And there was some exciting information that was shared. And it seems to be that a part of the agenda is obviously Spider-Man Brand New Day. And Spider-Man Brand New Day is the new film that's coming out next July 31st. And so this massive report suggests that there is at least 3 classic villains and sort of debunks a lot of rumors that have been circulating. There's been a lot of back and forth in regards to this, whether there's going to be a multiverse saga or it's going to be a street level film. So pretty much he revealed at the panel that Spider-Man Brand New Day, Scorpion, Boomerang, and Tombstone. Enough said. 2026 looks awesome. So we can at least provide the quote. Adam, your thoughts on Tombstone, Boomerang, and This is what happens when you're on medication, right, folks?
Scorpion.
Scorpion. Yeah, that other guy, Scorpion, that they teased 8 years ago. So.
Yeah. Yeah, if they finally do Scorpion, that'll be cool. I mean, it's a decent slate of villains, I guess. I don't know. I kind of, there are all these rumors and things, and I really want to reserve judgment until like there's a trailer or something, because there's all this stuff going around about who's going to be what and what's going to be in there, and
So
I don't really know what to believe.
Yeah, so we know a couple of things. We know that a couple of different actresses have been cast. Sadie Sink being one. A lot of people were speculating that she's playing Mayday. Some are speculating maybe she's.
That's weird. Like, I don't know. There's too much going. Like, if they're doing like everything. If it's a street level, because they were saying like, oh, it's either going to be a street level thing or a multiverse thing. If they're doing both, I hope like it's. I'm just like, are they gonna balance this well? Like, I don't know.
I could see, like Tombstone being a sort of supporting cast member. If we're starting a new trilogy, which the assumption is that we are.
It's a weird way to start a new trilogy, though. To go right into Secret Wars.
Right.
But I guess the first trilogy went right into Infinity War, so.
Yeah, and here's my thought. If we're doing a reset and a recalibration at the end of Secret Wars, then I am fine with a level of street level stuff being done to kind of maybe rough out the edges Spider-Man wise of his origin story. Because it feels like it was a soft reset at the end of the film, right? Nobody knows he's Spider-Man. Nobody knows who he is. He's this kind of faceless guy.
I'm kind of looking forward to it because it brings it back to the basics of what Spider-Man was always a street level hero.
Right.
And him being the whole Tony Stark world is I didn't like it.
Well,
to be honest.
It was one of the things that I felt like No Way Home solved. Because at the end of the film, he's now making his own costume. He's doing his own thing. He is basically rebuilding his life from scratch. He's kind of in that down on his luck type of hero. And I feel like that they're building off of that because they could have easily just kind of, brushed that aside. Sort of how they kind of brushed aside the whole reveal of his identity situation. So
yeah.
I think the long-term ramifications are actually kind of interesting. There's talk about, maybe we're introducing Miles, who knows? It's worked in the games. Probably best in the games. I know Grumpy Gills. But
okay, let me just say something real fast. I do not have a problem with Miles Morales. I have a problem him being named Spider-Man because I feel it dilutes the characters as a whole. I think if they would have used a different name when he came into the 616 so he could stand on his own more, I think it'd be better, but it's far too late now to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the argument is he's the Spider-Man of Brooklyn and Peter's the Spider-Man of New York, right?
Yeah.
They kind of do that in the games too, where he's the Spider-Man of Brooklyn and Harlem, and Peter's the Spider-Man of Greater New York. I get that. I get your criticism of that, and I think that when they've tried to do other names like Spidey, SPY-D, that was terrible. I think.
Did you sue for copyright?
The other one that I felt like was terrible, but a lot of like infants are going to know him by this name is Spen. I think isn't it Spen that is his name on the Amazing Friends? So all that being said, I think I'm with Adam. I'm cautiously optimistic. Masked Grumps, what are your overall thoughts?
Well, as far as the villains go, it depends. A lot of this is going to depend on the writing. All right. I mean, you got some good. I mean, Tom Holland's a very good actor, so you can't blame him for if the movie turns out bad, because he has talent. But if they approach it without doing the modern twist and stick to the core of what these characters are, I mean, it's going to be an MCU twist on these characters. But if they keep it on the street and almost like a true crime type of situation, I think it would be good. But if they go into the more fantastical realms with these set of villains, I think it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling because there's still some question as to whether or not they can use Fisk, blah blah blah. I would, and Vincent D'Onofrio has said multiple times he would love to play Kingpin in a Spider-Man film.
Well, they just started pre-production, right?
Barely. I mean, they're supposed to go in. They're supposed to start filming in like August, so they're like 2 months away from filming.
But they still could sneak Kingpin in there and make Tombstone the Enforcer. I think that's originally how the character was introduced.
He was a enforcer. Yeah.
Yeah. So he may not be a crime boss, but some kind of mob enforcer. And the big reveal at the end or post-scene credit, it's Kingpin that's told him to go after Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is also going to be coming out.
And people wanted Spider-Man in that too. So.
Yeah. So, needless to say, we'll move on to the next one. Really not a whole lot of news other than Waylon whining in my ear. But Shannon the She-Devil finally going to get a Marvel Legend after several years. We've already seen Kazar, and Zabu was the Build-A-Figure earlier this year, so this was kind of an inevitability. A lot of people are excited because this mold could probably be reused for Savage Land Rogue. So, yeah, for those that are wanting Shannon the She-Devil, definitely can check that out. The Lizard is now available, so the Deluxe Lizard is available, the Amazon exclusive, so if you have not picked that up, it is now available for purchase, not just pre-order, as is the Spider-Man 2 wave of figures. So, really, Waylon, you got to do that right here and shake the whole entire thing. Okay. So, yeah, that is pretty much all the news I got. Let's move on to the issues themselves.
I want to do a review of Thunderbolt.
Oh, yeah. Adam, have you seen Thunderbolts?
Yeah.
Okay, what is your thoughts on Thunderbolts?
I liked it. Yeah, I don't know. Good characters, good story, good MCU movie.
Well, that's I thought it did really well. I think the marketing kind of was strange, but it was kind of unique. So at least they're trying something new instead of it being so formulaic on the marketing side. Mask Grumps, what do you think?
Okay, this is going to shock everybody. I think this is the best MCU movie since Endgame. I mean, it's far superior than anything they put out since that. I mean, everything else has been kind of flat. This was actually fun to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, and the subject matter they tackled, if they didn't handle it correctly, it would have been god-awful. The mental health stuff. It would have been god-awful. It didn't come up pretentious, It came off as legitimate trauma, and the post-credit scene, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. It kind of does start to get you hyped up for what's coming next, which was been seriously lacking in the previous. I mean,
most of the post-credit scenes have been oh man, how's this going to pay off here? And the payoffs to those post-credit scenes have been look. I think I agree with you. I think this movie proved, from a creative standpoint, the chances they took in phases 4 and 5 were worth it. In a lot, like in Black Widow and Falcon and Winter Soldier and Hawkeye. It really pays off all of that stuff, and I think it does a good job of. Now we got the new Avengers versus the Avengers, and we're going to have the unsanctioned team versus the sanctioned team. And, so there's going to be the two groups going to have to come together. I think the post-credit scene was great. I actually felt like that, it did a really good job of actually kind of capping off Phase 5 to where, yes, we got Ironheart between now and then. But
one step forward, 2 steps back.
Well, here's my thought. I think Ironheart was so far into production that I think they had to finish it. I don't know. I mean, she might appear in the inevitable Young Avengers movie that they're very obviously setting up. Which I feel like is going to be happening in between Doomsday and Secret Wars. But
one more thing real fast I forgot to add. You can watch this movie without having to watch any of the Disney Plus shows.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's what I really like about this.
They give enough info.
Exposition. Yeah.
It's exposition, but I feel like it works because I don't know, the characters are all meet. It's like a comic book, the characters all meet for the first time. It's like, this is this person.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
But I feel like I don't know. It works. It works in a way. It's kind of noticeable, but it's fine because it's like, oh, okay, like now you know who this person is, and you get the idea.
It rewards you for paying attention, but it doesn't feel like you had to do homework to get there.
Right.
That's why I like that a lot.
And I feel like that even with Brave New World a little bit, you had to do some homework to get there. So,
I mean, it's like, what they'll say? This is someone's first comic book. Yeah, decide. Well, this is someone's first MCU movie. You can jump in on the. Yeah, you could jump in on this point.
Yeah. I think the Fantastic Four First Steps is going to be a big jumping on point. Mm-hmm. I think I'm hyped for that. I'm hyped for Superman.
To the comic book community, can we stop whining about Henry Cavill already? He's not fucking coming back. I used my one. I'm sorry, but it just irritates the shit out. He's not coming back. Sorry. Stop crying. Move on.
Well, I mean, the Snyder fanboys, they'll never let it go, and that's the issue, is that they'll just never let it go.
Yeah, they can't let go of the fact that Christopher Reeve was a far superior Superman in a far superior Superman movie than Henry Cavill. There we go. We went old school on their ass.
Well, look, I think Henry Cavill had the opportunity to bring to be this generation's Christopher Reeve. He just never got the script. I think I think he had the look. He had the right approach to the character. But he had a director that didn't understand why Superman worked.
He had a character with scenes. He didn't have a director with a story.
Well, you had a director that only read one DC story or two DC stories. One was Watchmen, the other was Dark Knight Returns, and thought that everything should be based on that.
Yeah.
And that's, again, don't come after me in the comments. It's just my opinion.
Oh, go after him. Go. Go. Sick 'em, boys. Sick 'em.
All right. So let's get into ASM. So let's get into the reviews. Let's talk a little bit about Spider-Man 3, aka 967. Let me get the book pulled up. I'm professional here, guys. I am professionally prepared. All right. So we open up the issue. Oh, I should probably give the credits. Writer Joe Kelly, Pepe Larraz is the artist. Marte Garcia is the color artist. And Joe Caramagna is the letterer. Cover artists are Pepe Larraz and Monte Garcia. There is no variant covers to this particular issue. So we open up in the past where Peter is dressed up like a punk, and he's being scolded by Aunt May, and then suddenly Aunt May does a face heel turn and starts trying to murder him. Snaps Peter back out, and he's fighting Itsy Bitsy Dupe. Big 2 double page splash. We get the credits page. Itsy Bitsy continues to fight Peter. Meanwhile, Shay is trying to save Rhino at the same time. Peter then has to save Shay, and Peter talks about how he hates drugs, which drugs are bad, okay? Drugs are bad. So Peter is continuing to date, sort of be trippied out, and Itsy Bitsy's about to attack whenever the Ravencroft security team starts showing up. Itsy Bitsy tells Peter that he ruined it, you selfish piece of crap. So she's continually drugged him. She's drugged him to I think that's the Brooklyn Bridge, and they have a bit of a heart to heart where she kind of tries to lick his face, which is weird. We get back to May's apartment when Peter kind of shows up, drugged out of his mind, like just blitzed out. We then get a flashback sequence with Peter, talking about, or with May and Ben talking about how Peter's been acting strangely lately. And Ben tells him he has to leave. So Aunt May is trying to psych herself up to talk to Peter about the situation. Turns out Peter's already gone. So then we get to the penthouse of Norman Osborn. And they've kind of figured out how do you poison a rhino? You have him drink a bunch of sodas. So then we get the another big splash page where he's talking with his friend that is suspiciously looking like a now convicted congressman, and George Santos, and they're kind of going back and forth. Peter is convinced that the stuff is drugged. He decides to go to the bottling plant when, lo and behold, who shows up but the Hobgoblin. Rowdy Roddy Kingsley with his big giant wings of doom shows up. To be continued. Grubby Gills, your thoughts?
Wrong button. Overall, since we know what's coming up in issue 4, my little pet peeve about this issue, it's not that big of a deal since I know the resolution now, but the whole young Peter flashbacks, it makes sense. And it still doesn't make sense, and I'll talk about when we get to issue 4. But this whole thing about keep on pushing trauma on Peter, I think the guy has enough already, to be honest with you. I mean,
True.
Let's just look at the history of Spider-Man. You don't need to add more. There's plenty to play with. But it's the artwork is amazing, by the way. I love the artwork.
Yeah.
It's really good.
The artwork carries the issue, in my opinion.
I mean,
Yeah.
Joe Kelly is very lucky to have Pepe Larraz. I mean, just these 2 issues, like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, for me, this issue was saved by the artwork. It's dynamic, the colors, it all pops, it grabs your eye. I just wish there was a little bit more to bite into with the adult Peter Parker thing. I wish it was more touche, because I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but she is white bread that's been toasted. There's nothing to her.
Yeah.
Give me something to latch onto with this character.
They're trying, but it's it's like the bare minimum.
Yeah. Overall, if I was here, I'm going to help you, Zach. I'm going to go ahead and give my grade now on this issue. Okay. I would give it a C plus. It just needed something for me to grab onto and go, all right, I'm starting to get invested, but I don't have that here.
What's your number grade? Remember, we went to number grades for these.
Something out.
Yeah, out of 10.
A 7.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, 7 out of 10. It's not bad. It's just barely above middle of the road type situation.
Okay. Adam, your thoughts?
I think it's fine. Yeah, the young Peter stuff is weird. Like I don't know. I mean, I get what he's doing with it, especially in issue 4. Like it's all supposed to, it's all tying in. He's using the story itself as a vehicle to explore this like Peter's childhood, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I wonder if it was needed. Because some of it just feels like kind of, tropey, cliche stuff. Like, I don't know.
I agree with that.
One thing I was, thinking about it, I kind of like the dynamic with Norman in this issue. I think it's better than Wells. Maybe it's just recency bias or something, but something about it in this issue is working for me more than I think it did in the Wells run. Maybe it's because it's like more of a step back, and like they're not working together anymore, and he's not like, he doesn't have the suit anymore, and it's just like, oh, he's helping him out and kind of giving him a little bit of advice, and
he's kind of they also have that
he's the guy in the chair, sort of like,
yeah, and
he's like the Alfred or whatever.
He's also like, there's a little antagonistic.
Yeah, there's some pushback. Yeah,
there's pushback back and forth, because like at the end of the day, Peter should not trust Norman.
I like that analogy, Adam. Norman has become Peter's Alfred.
Yeah.
Or grumpy grandpa.
And it was cool actually seeing Peter do a little detective work. We don't really see that a lot, it feels like.
It's been a long time.
And it was kind of nice. It's like, oh, just putting clues together and then following a lead, and then it leads into the Hobgoblin. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, this was very much middle chapter syndrome on one hand, but
yeah, I feel like the pacing though overall is not too bad.
Yeah, I think the artwork kind of carries it quite a
bit.
I think they're playing the 5-issue trade paper thing, like we talked about in the last interview. But I mean, God, that final splash page of Hobgoblin is just stunning. It's the best that Hobgoblin has looked, in my opinion, since the redesign. I'm okay with him having the wings, the bat wings, especially Kingsley, because it differentiates him from Norman. If this is going to be the Goblin, right, then like let's make it a little different, you know. So I'm down for that. I
mean, it fits the theme.
Yeah, very much so. Adam, your grade?
I'll go. Actually, I'm thinking numbers here. I'll do 8.3.
Ooh.
Hey Zach, there's a question in the chat. The question: did Kingsley ever have the wings and sword? Thought that was Phil Urich.
Yeah, so the thank you, Gary. That I think it was established in Miles's book that he was using that particular design. It started with Phil. Phil obviously gets kind of kicked off the board towards the end of slots, towards volume 1, around like the last arc before Dying Wish, and then Kingsley kind of commandeers that particular design moving forward. So it did start with the wings and the sword with Phil, but Kingsley kind of stole it from him, which actually is like it or not, that's actually very on brand for Kingsley.
It was all stuff though that because we read that pretty recently for the Slot Symposium, and that was apparently like Phil found that stuff in like Norman's or Kingsley's stuff. I don't know, because he right like that was the implication at least.
That
Oh no, there were like prototype things in there that he found, so it's it's technically all Goblin gear. It's not. I mean, Phil just ended up being the first to use it, but
yeah, you're right, Adam.
Yeah, because if they didn't say Hobgoblin, I thought it was the demonic Hobgoblin one.
Oh,
okay, because I have read none of this, and that's the reason why I brought the question up, so people could. Zach or Adam could explain it to me.
Yeah.
So I would kind of have a little bit of backstory about the new look. I mean, not that it's bad or anything. It's just I was a little confused about it.
It's been a thing since Slot was on the title, basically. So for the past,
there's a reason why I don't know.
It's been like about 13-ish years, 14, 15 years, something like that.
Well, that's what Gary says. That's what I thought. Thanks for clarifying. I didn't know how to feel about it at first, but Zach's good points bring me around to it. Oh, thanks, Gary. I'm glad that I was able to help. And then we have Ashley in the chat saying it's her turn to pick on Walter.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Hey, give me a oh yeah, Zach.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's go to issue number 4. That came out today. So if you have not made it to your comic shop, go stop this video and we will you can come back and watch it later. So we open with the actual title page. The actual title page with Joe Kelly, Pepe Larraz, and same creative team. We are at Rand Applied Sciences. We have George Santos talking with his boss, and turns out that yes, the sodas are in fact drugged. So at the time, the boss is saying we got to let Parker go. He's not reliable. He's not able to do these things. So we cut to the Goblin and Peter fighting back and forth. Peter's still trying to fight the hallucinogens that he's been dealing with for the last few issues. So Itsy Bitsy basically says you've got trouble. Just turns out a couple of scientists at Rand Corporation have discovered that you drugged the sodas, and you probably need to go take care of that while I take care of Peter. We have like these floating heads of guilt, which are like highly distorted floating heads of guilt, which are just gorgeous. And then we have Larraz drawing Gwen and Mary Jane. He's talking about how you lost the love of your life twice, which stings, Joe Kelly. Stings. So just Itsy Bitsy's like, are you in there? Crap nuggets. So they continue to fight. We get kind of between their fighting, we get more of these interspersed flashback scenes where Peter is drinking with young George Santos, and turns out that Peter cannot handle alcohol, and he starts throwing up. We then get Peter throwing up with Aunt May, kind of giving him a lecture. And Aunt May kind of says, look, we didn't do anything to deserve how you've been treating us, except maybe not being able to be your biological parents. And if that's making you angry, she's sorry, but she can't rewrite history. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you try to change our minds, they're going to love him regardless. And whether you not you let us, we're going to love you come what may. And
I got a quick question for both of you. Since when did Aunt May started wearing Captain America's shield as earrings?
Just a stylistic choice, buddy.
Wanted to ask.
So we get young Peter, saying "Until you're gone too," and so she tells him to not push away good things because you're afraid to lose them, Peter. It's the only way to guarantee that you will. So that's when he hugs Aunt May, and at the time he's hugging Aunt May and the hallucinogen. He's saying to Itsy Bitsy, "I'm so sorry. I don't want to lose you. I don't hate me. I love you." And she's like, "What did you say?" And then realize it's not May's voice. And then Itsy Bitsy shows her predator face, and you don't say those things to someone unless you mean them, So Peter's like, "I did mean them, but those words weren't meant for you. Sorry. Lest we forget, you're the one who drugged me. If you don't like it, take it up with your boss." So the fight continues. And Peter then webs up Itsy Bitsy. And so Peter says, "I'm not losing another friend." And then all of a sudden we hear the voicemail of his friend saying, "Bro, that I left a dozen effing messages. That soda was drugged, but not some creepy bartender. So just call me back, Pete. It's all good now." To be continued as the goblin flies towards the Rand Corporation. We then get to the Spider's Web, and I got to give a couple of shout-outs in the Spider's Web title. Mr. Comics 89 has occasionally been on the show or been listening to the show live, and he has left now, I think, a dozen letters in the letters page. So Matt, we see you, we acknowledge you, but more importantly, member of the Spideydude Radio Network himself, Javi Trujillo, is left a letter in there talking about the first issue. And so congratulations to Javi for being a published member of the being immortalized in the letters pages. Gary says that he hadn't been digging the flashbacks, but he's got to say he loved that flashback. So, all right. Adam, your thoughts?
That reminds me, I wanted to say about the last issue. This was I guess a pro and a con of it, is I felt like it was kind of a disorienting issue, at least from the Spidey POV. It was really just with Itsy Bitsy just being like a maniac and just rambling about stuff, and then Peter going in and out of the fight and the flashbacks and everything. It was very disorienting. So I'm like, I didn't really like it, but I didn't. Well, I shouldn't say I didn't like it. I was kind of I was iffy about it, but it's one of those things where it's it puts you in his mindset, his headspace, so it works in that regard. So yeah, I wanted to say that about that. And this issue, I mean, I guess it feels like more of the same. It's fine. The scene between young Peter and Aunt May is good. Like I said, I feel like some of this young Peter stuff is a little cliche, just with the oh yeah, we're gonna drink and blah blah blah, and he pays for it, which fine. But I don't know. It's just Like, I'm just like, my thing is like, do we need this? It's not really about like Peter being like, perfect or whatever. And it's like, oh, he couldn't be like a bad kid or whatever. But it's just kind of like, do we need this specifically? I guess I'm just not sure. I mean, everything else is fine. Like, the art again is excellent. And I feel like it's just, wow. That's really most of all I have to say is like, oh, the art is just like, it's like, what have we done to get this good of art on a Spidey book? And there's been good art on the Spidey books recently, but I just feel like this is kind of like, wow.
These issues have proven
it's just kind of nuts. Like you look at some of this stuff and it's like, I kind of can't believe we're getting this kind of a quality of style on here. Like, just thinking about it's like, wow, and I kind of do wonder, like, if the art wasn't this good, would people be as into this? Which I'm just I'm not saying, I mean, the story's fine, but I'm just like, people are liking this, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I don't begrudge anybody for liking this, because I see why people like this, but it's just like, man, the art is just kind of on another level right now, and I feel like if someone else was drawing this, people will be like, yeah, this is fine.
I have said on our show, Books of X, where we talk a lot about Pepe the Roz, particularly in the first few episodes where we did the books of the Power of X and Dawn of X, that I wanted Pepe the Roz on this book, and I didn't think it would be possible until we got it here. And so I am tickled pink. I am pleased to be great. Like you say, we are eating good when it comes to artwork here. Very much so. Grumps.
Well, to bring up my pet peeve with the flashback, didn't Peter's parents die when he was like 3 years old?
Yeah, he was
very young. He was,
yeah.
He was like an infant or so.
He was depends on the flashback. I think I've seen infant, I've seen toddler,
Well, my point being, he's acting out because he's missing his parents. When you're 3 years old, and you get older, you don't have those memories. I could get that understanding that he realizes Aunt May and Uncle Ben aren't his natural parents, but he's about 8 years old now, 8, 10. That's been his parents for 7 years.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. Like, however, on the other side of the coin, if I was forced to live with a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle, and
I can understand if they were not Aunt May and Uncle Ben being kind-hearted parent.
Mm-hmm.
If they were more of a abusive, I don't want to say abusive, antagonistic type situation, which we've never seen any instant of, other than the fact Aunt May want to do a chokehold on Peter and give him an RKO. Yeah. But it's just one of those things. Is like,
which was the drugs talking.
It was the drugs. Yeah. Aunt May in the 60s. Woohoo! But it's just one of those things. It doesn't really make sense as far as a narrative thing. I see what he was going for, the trauma of losing his parents. But since he had basically loving parents the whole time he grew up,
right,
that sense of pain wouldn't be as sharp as he's portraying it.
No, they kind of did this in the first ASM web movie. It's the same kind of thing. Like, he just kind of, it's because I remember them talking about this too, like the idea of like the orphan, like like the idea of like, oh, this is, there's always going to be that, like, I guess that wondering or something.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
who are my original parents? Like, where do I
fit into this family dynamic?
Where do I come from?
Yeah. But it's overplayed too much. That's why it's far too overplayed. But just like what you said, Adam and Zach, the artwork, oh my God. This is the only time I literally would say the artwork kept me reading, because I just want to look at those panels all the time.
Yeah.
It's so dynamic. The fight scene, all of it, it's just wonderful. But as far as the story goes, it's not a bad idea. Okay, it just feels like it should be a 3-issue type thing, in my personal opinion.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, 4 max.
Maybe 4. Yeah, like they're doing, apparently they're doing 5-issue trades now, so those are the story arcs, mostly.
We learned that in the Greg Weisman interview from last week.
But the problem is you need to have something to keep holding on to if you're going to do that. And there's nothing really here to keep holding on to. I mean, it's nice. The resolution to the flashbacks is nice, but it's not the reason why I'm reading Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. But
I want something in the main story for me to go, okay, give me something here to hang on to.
Yeah.
There's little tidbits here. Maybe it's building up to something, but this is one thing I will give credit to Dan Slott. He did, on occasion, add something to the story for you to go, that's interesting. I kind of want to see where that goes.
Yeah.
All right.
I am wondering, like, what is Hobgoblin's plan here? Because it's like, does he really want to, like, I don't know. I find it's a weird master plan to, like, freak the city out. Like, what's the end game there? Like, what is
he's doing a role play from Batman 85. Instead of putting the Joker formula in all the products, he's just sticking with soda. I mean, it's kind of what the whole plot line to Batman was. The first movie. Yeah. But it's just it doesn't seem like something he would do, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm wondering, like, what is, I mean, we'll find out next issue, hopefully. I'm assuming. But I'm just wondering, but it is, it doesn't feel like, it feels
would
like
be
a
something
strange master plan.
Yeah, it'd be something more like someone who's looking for a ransom or trying to get money type situation.
It does seem like a Batman plot. You're right.
Yeah.
It seems like something the Joker would do.
Yeah, I mean,
the Joker wants to, freak the whole city out because he thinks it's funny, and but like, why is Roderick Kingsley doing this?
Hi, Ashley.
Speaking of Batman,
I just need to pop up. I felt my spidey senses tingling when he mentioned Batman one too many times. Plus, I mean, whatever this little thing is you guys have going on, I've been watching it. I've never officially got to meet the one and only over there, so I had to get on.
Here I am, in all my glory.
Is that a green screen, like, mask? Is that what you're wearing?
Yes, it is.
Poor Adam. He's like, nothing surprises me.
Well, since I joined the show, Adam goes from shock to every time I first appear on the camera going.
That's my favorite cover, by the way.
This one?
Yeah.
Actually, I like the first one that was. I mean, yeah. I like that
one too, but I like the Halloween one a lot more.
Yeah.
That's my aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
I do like the Impossible Man just like popping up randomly. So like when you have it like back to back, it's like bam, there's the Impossible Man.
I mean, the covers have been really great. I mean,
yeah, that one.
I'm talking about the variants.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to figure out what what Greg was going for with this, and what reference material he was using there. Anyway, we got also the Captain Universe timeless variants with Alex Ross.
Captain Marvel.
Captain
Marvel.
Did I say Captain Universe? Dude,
Yeah.
I just took NyQuil. Give me a break. Okay, I'm as drugged up as Peter is this year.
It's 11 o'clock at night almost, and I read through all 4 of these issues, and then I was like, oh no, I'm not going to do it. And then I decided I was just going to make a random appearance just because I've never officially met Walter, and
She's heard the legend.
Zach's sick, NyQuil, whatever, monotone shiznit.
Hey,
I won't swear. We're not getting demonetized or
Oh,
whatever.
sorry.
Getting our videos taken down. I'll be good.
he's heard.
It was making me sleepy, so I was like, you know what? I'm
Hey,
gonna hop on. Adam, when are you giving the recaps? By the way, I would like for you to do a recap next time.
Adam hates recaps, so
Why?
Yeah. I can do them fast. That's the thing.
And then you can just pause when you know Zach's gonna open his mouth to do a random voice in there. But I really have nothing to contribute to this.
There was one that I was thinking about doing. What was it? It was recently. It was probably Ultimate or something because that was pretty straightforward.
Yes.
I mean,
I support that.
I could do the recaps, but I can do it like Shatner
oh god, no.
and do a dramatic reading of Amazing Spider-Man.
Last time
Or
I
I could do my Christopher Walken
I do
And-
want to say,
and just tossed in random facts.
I do want to say about the young Peter stuff and the whole parents and Aunt May and Uncle Ben thing. Like there is a bit of a DeMatteis-esque quality to it. So I mean I see you, Joe Kelly. I think.
I got some Child Within vibes from this.
Yeah, I think I like that a little better, but and that's why I feel like maybe that's why it's like, well, we did it in a. It's like we did like that is that's so much more like psychological anguish, and this is just like almost like a CW show like after just like like I'm rebelling against my elderly parents and stuff. I don't know. I mean it's fine. I don't know.
This after-school special is brought to you by Joe Kelly.
And like I said, it's not really, I mean, I get why people are liking it. I'm not trying to be like, because, there are a lot of people out there that are like, oh, well, the people that don't like this stuff or, they don't want Peter to be a flawed character or whatever. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I just feel like this stuff is kind of too.
Well, I mean, now we have an in-canon reason as to why he doesn't drink.
Yeah, but.
Yeah. Did we need it?
It's like the only reason we need it is because Marvel doesn't want to show him do that because he's their biggest property. Like,
oh boy, he's the Mickey Mouse of Marvel.
That'd be better as Barry White.
That's the thing too. I feel like I almost feel like that's kind of like, I mean, he should be able to drink if he wants.
I mean,
yes,
he does in Ultimate. Like, we saw him do it in the new Ultimate. So, but he's more of a regular guy there.
36.
My age.
Is he?
Yeah, he's around my age.
I thought he was
55?
younger than we are.
He's like 35, 36.
Oh, I thought you were 55.
Shut up.
How old are you, Walter? Like, pot meat.
It's
kettle, okay?
literally in my name.
He's a grandpa.
Yeah, I am.
He's
But to tie this up for me, really, the whole flashback, to be honest with you, I think it would be a lot better as a backup story. Because it kind of breaks the flow of the main story. be honest.
Yeah, that's true. I do think, like I said, in the third issue, it was very disorienting, but I feel like that was maybe the point, or maybe it was just me, because but it feels like, Peter's like trying to fight off villains and he's losing his mind, and it's like all this, he doesn't know what's real and what's not, and he's like, reliving past moments, and it's like, it's all very disorienting. It's like, okay, it kind of puts you in his headspace. It kind of gets you into how chaotic it all is.
Yeah, I mean, also the whole best friend thing, sort of.
That's kind of forced.
Yeah, I mean, there's my main problem with, in general, with Amazing Spider-Man, like Shay, the new best. There's nothing to latch onto.
Right.
Okay.
He's just like he's just a dickhead kid, like in a weird kind of, smarmy George Santos doll.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't come off as a scientist, does he? Does anybody think he's a scientist?
Not necessarily.
No.
He seems
Yeah.
like
He's a science bro, is what.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
Even that,
he's
like,
middle management. That's what he is. He's
Actually,
middle management.
He comes across as like a Silicon Valley science dude, like the worst stereotypes of like Silicon Valley science. guy.
Are you saying his dialogue is written by AI?
I'm not saying that, Walter.
Well, but my grade for this issue is probably a 7.8. It's a little bit better than the last issue, but once again, it lacks that. I'm not really feeling the need to read the next issue. There's nothing there to perk my interest. Is it bad? No. But there's nothing for me to say I'm interested in reading the next issue. If I happen to miss it, I could go to issue 6 and not feel lost.
Adam, your grade.
I'll probably just stick with the 8.3.
All
I
right.
feel like that's just the overall for both of them. Like, good art, fine story. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like like I said, I think the pacing seems all right. Maybe it's just like how energetic the art is, but it feels. Could this have maybe been solved in this issue? Maybe. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how it gets wrapped up next issue.
Yeah, next issue we get the resolution to this particular arc, and then we get the first arc with John Romita Jr. So, all right, my grade is 8.1 out of 10. I would say it's the same across both issues. I think my grade for 3 actually got raised by issue 4. I think it was probably like a 7.5 for me on issue 3, but then when I read issue 4 and I'm reading the back to back now, it elevates the previous issue, and I agree with you there, Adam, that the back and forth is deliberate, but I mean, my God, the floating heads of doom or guilt, that's like, oh, what's his name? The one that looks like Steve Ditko.
Marcus Martin.
Yeah, that's like Marcos Martin level of like details, like with the little spiders in there. It's like trippy as hell, and it really works. It's very like, the thing about LaRaz's artwork is it feels very cinematic in its presentation, which I appreciate. Not all comics need to be that way, but like, every once in a while, as a change of pace, I really like it, because it's going to be very, very jarring to go from this to John Romita Jr.
Yeah.
who's
And like I said, I mean, it's nothing against John Romita Jr. because I like he's turning out good work the past couple years, but I wonder if people would like this as much, this arc in particular, if he drew it.
I'm not a big John Jr. fan.
I'm a huge John Romita Jr. fan. I have literally.
He needs to have the right anchor on it. Series.
With Scott Hanna, I am right there with you. But I look
Okay,
at
but if he has the wrong inker, it just looks horrible.
Yeah. So, speaking of me pointing back there, I suppose I should say, I got to give a couple shout outs, one of which is to Walter.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm waiting for my shout out. Are you going to stay with us, Ashley?
I'm getting
For what?
Is
I was like,
going to be a regular
pan.
You're going to be a regular panelist from now on? Because I need someone here to help me torture Zach.
I mean,
I hear you talking crap, Walter.
potentially, we're talking about them PJ pants.
Oh, well,
PJs do.
listen. This is
polo shirts and pajama bottoms.
listen. This is business on the top and party on the bottom. Okay.
That's how I live my life.
Oh no.
And people call me Grandpa.
Listen, I am.
Adam, did you just drop boom?
So
It sounded like you just went boom, like mic drop.
all right, first shout out I got to give to Hobby because he helped me procure the boxed version of Kane.
Hey, enlarge yourself, Zach.
Oh yeah, I should probably make myself big. I should grow like Ant-Man. All right, let me.
And remove the cover.
So I got Kane. So I now have all three of the 90s retro card that came out this year. So I'm excited about that.
That wig. Mm-mm.
Hey.
I need to fix them up with my stylist.
Go ahead and get the wig out of the closet, Zach.
Oh God. Anyway, and then this is what I was grabbing for Walter. So this is this is a Mego style Scarlet Spider with custom packaging, and it's done by Vin's Universe. Walter said, "Hey, I'm getting you something," and I was kind of scared because I got gifts from Walter. It ended up being a Spider-Gwen costume, and I had to wear it.
You literally never know ever what it's going to be. And there's that evil cackle that I said to insert. He did it as soon as you said that.
Yeah.
It needs to be like on the soundboard. I feel.
All it is like it's like Mr. Claw from Inspector Gadget.
Well, we do go to the same fashion people.
I mean, you'll pay for this, Inspector Gadget. I can actually do the voice right now because I got the bass.
Well, okay, Kool-Aid man.
Ooh yeah. So yeah, thank you.
Ashley's reaction to that.
You said to do it before, and he was like, "It's like you said jump," and Zach was like, "How high, Walter?" Like instantly, dude.
Well,
He's so afraid I'm going to say, "Hey Zach, I'm sending you a special package. I remember that time you said no."
Yeah, no. So before we started the episode, I was like, "This episode of the Spideydude Experience is brought to you by Barry White." Oh yeah, baby. Anyway, so like I said, I know Ashley, I get it. So next week, we are going to be talking about Ultimate Spider-Man because Ultimate Spider-Man comes back out. Oh, Ack.
Neil.
Say his name and he appears. I believe.
I didn't say his name. Did you say his name? Did anybody say his name?
No.
Me.
I don't think so.
I don't think anybody said Neil's name. What the hell are you talking about? Is that Dayquil going to your head really fast?
Listen, I'm going to sleep really good for about 6 hours tonight. All right. So next week we will be back on with Ultimate Spider-Man, the latest issue of that. So I'm excited about that. Ashley will be back. Adam will be back. Walter will be in the comment section, probably trolling us. Possibly we'll have Hobby, Mr. I wrote a letter in Amazing Spider-Man and couldn't be on tonight, but he actually is, poor guy. He's trying to get his family in town, and they have had a ground stop in Austin because of staffing issues. And so, yeah, so hopefully they got that resolved, but that's no bueno. So yeah, the audio editions for both the Spectacular Spider-Man and the interview we did with Greg Weisman will be out next week. And we will be having this out the following week as well. Oh my God, God Almighty! Stop, Walter! I hate you so much right now. I hate that cursed image. I hate everything about it. Fuck you, Walter. I'm using my wall.
Dang! Tonight's episode is brought to you by the letter F.
U C. All right.
You know who didn't use that? Adam, because he's wonderful.
Yeah.
Supposed to be bad.
Yeah. So anyway, if you want to support us, you can find us over at the Patreon page, patreon.com/Spideydude Network. You got our patron subscribers like Allison, Cindy, Casey, Doug, Ed, Eric, Georgia, Greg, Janelle, Jessica, Joyce, Catherine, Kale, Laura Howard, Lump Moose, Master Draman, Phoenician, RJ, Vanessa, and Vicky. Thank you guys for your support as sensational tier patrons. We have our spectacular duo of Sarah and Tara, and our VIPs, Finkman, who's in the comments section, and the grumpy old man himself, Walter. You see on the screen our friendly neighborhood tier, but they will be getting their audio shout-outs at the beginning of this episode on the audio edition. If you have not already, check out our Greg Weisman interview with this very busy, very inspired cover.
Incredible.
It is the best that Neil did. But if you are a Patreon subscriber, you're going to get Books of X as one of the perks. And check out our reviews, as well as the video editions of Voices from the Eyrie, a Gargoyles podcast. Check out the latest episode of Make Mine Mayday, the show all about Spider-Girl and her world, where we talked to superfan Frogoat. That was a fun conversation. He's been kind of the bridge between the old fandom and the current fandom, and it was kind of an interesting conversation if you've not already checked that out. Speaking of Javi and Jack got their AASM Classic show. And if you want to check out the Vault series of Clone Saga Chronicles and Spectacular Radio, you can certainly do that as well. Sabi Sim Era podcast is in the post-Maximum Carnage era, so check out that. If you have not already found us on the social medias, I am on Twitter /X at Spideydude Radio. We got Instagram, Threads, Facebook at Spideydude Network. And then, of course, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, go find us on YouTube, youtube.com/Spideydude Radio Network. And if you want to be like Walter and leave voicemails to annoy me later, you can always leave me a voicemail at 818-925-6631.
And leave a voicemail to tell me what we should have Zach cosplay as next.
Oh, God. All right. So, without further ado, I want to thank Ashley for her cameo appearance in this episode. I want to thank Adam and Walter for being my co-hosts tonight. And we'll see you next time here on the Spideydude Radio Network.